Okay, today I want to talk about the UFO that U.S. Navy encountered a couple of years ago, and it was discussed in a video done by this guy. I forgot his name. He interviewed Elon Musk. I'll find out what the name is later. And this is the UFO the U.S. Navy F-18 pilots encountered just southwest of San Diego, United States, and west coast of Mexico. And they were talking about why some of these craft they encountered apparently spinning in the air and then be able to accelerate to incredible speed without any visible plume or smoke coming from the tail. And that craft is apparently can rotate in the middle of the air while it's traveling in any given direction. Now, I have one theory I'm going to talk about it, is that I think this UFO or spacecraft or whatever craft it is actually using a technology that's warping the space around it. So anybody who is a fan of Star Trek know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a warp engine. But it's a warp engine that you can actually use in atmospheric conditions. So I'll give you one example. Let's assuming this ball, this red ball, is the UFO. And that's assuming this ball is transparent. It's actually transparent. You assume it's transparent, and whatever inside you can see it. Now this craft has some sort of fuel type that we don't know, and then you can generate enormous amount of energy. I don't know, in the magnitudes of who knows. Who knows how much energy you can generate by converting the fuel into whatever that converting that fuel into whatever the energy it is. We all know that energy cannot be destroyed or created, so it's burning some type of fuel that we don't know. Now imagine it's warping space. So for you Star Trek fans out there, warp engine is you manipulate the space around it, you expand the space behind, and you contract the space in front. So the craft move to the right. Now, since it's a space bubble around the craft, whatever inside can rotate. Even though the ball is traveling to the right, whatever inside can still rotate. Now, the space warping is not visually visible. Okay. The other way I can explain it is that this craft, the UFO, is having like a rubber band around it. Let's say a rubber band, and the engine convert the fuel into some sort of energy that can stretch the rubber band. So it's, let's say I want to travel to the right, stretch the space around it by by having the engine pulling the rubber band to the right, and then the warp space give tension to the craft, and then it's traveling to the right. So if I let go, of course the ball is going to shoot toward my right hand. But imagine that the engine is keep on stretching this rubber band around, so it just keep pulling. You keep pulling, and then you travel to the right. Now if I travel up, I just manipulate the engine's direction of vector, the vector magnitude and direction toward the up. So I move up. I want to move down, I stretch down and move down. If I want to go to the left, I just stretch to the left, and then it goes to the left. And then while this thing is traveling in the air, in the atmosphere, and this ball is transparent, whoever inside is transparent, so whatever inside can rotate around while the ball is traveling to the left. So I think that's why that UFO that the naval pilot saw, the Navy F-18 pilot saw, doesn't have any visible plume because it's warping the space around it. Now, if my theory is correct, which we all know space-time can be warped based on Einstein's theory, you just need huge amount of energy to do it. Apparently, if this theory is correct, that craft, the size of I don't know, it's pretty small. I think that naval pilot said this UFO is no bigger than the size of a sedan, a minivan. Well, probably a bus, whatever. If, let's say it's a bus, the size of a bus, and it can generate a huge amount of energy by converting whatever the fuel they're carrying, it would just completely destroy our understanding of how to travel in the air. You don't need Bernoulli principle. You don't need air. That's why that craft can go from under the water into the ocean and shoot through the water surface, the ocean surface, and then travel up the air, and they travel hundreds of miles in mere seconds. Okay, that's just amazing. The other thing I want to discuss is that UFO that F-18 pilot saw. Everybody assumes that there's a little green man sitting in there. But that thing accelerates instantaneously. Okay, travel hundreds of miles in less than in mere minutes or mere seconds. Okay. And everybody thinking, oh, if I get my hand on it, I can pilot that aircraft, or that spacecraft, or that UFO. But everybody thinks there's a little green man sitting in there. Imagine whatever life form sitting in there will be accelerating incredible amount of G-force if that thing is accelerating that much. So whoever inside the craft, inside the UFO, has some sort of technology that can negate Newton's first law. Basically, countering the G-force. And I just find that incredibly hard. I don't know. Maybe there is a technology out there that can counter the G-force that much. But hear me out. The other possible explanation is that UFO is not a man-made engineering piece of equipment. That UFO is a life form. That UFO, those naval pilot, F-18 pilots saw, that is a green man. The UFO itself is a life form. That could be the other explanation. So anyway, but anyway, at the bottom, at the end of this incredible discovery by these naval pilots, it just blow our aerospace engineering out of the water. You can fly in the air without wings. And you don't need a reactionary engine. There's a completely new paradigm of propulsion out there that we humans don't know. We don't know. And they're using it. These UFO are using it. Okay? Now I'm assuming that UFO is not a ball of energy. It's actually a physical object, not a ball of energy. If that is a ball of energy, that would be a different discussion. So I'm assuming that ball is actually a physical object, either a life form, or a spacecraft, or a craft that can counter G-force and accelerate in incredible rate and traveling incredible speeds without any reactionary engines, and possibly carrying a fuel that we don't know, and can generate a huge amount of energy. Okay. That's all I have. Thanks.